Howdy everyone. Right. It's all going a bit wrong. Twitch once again excuse me, Twitch once again decided to just not. So that's why the stream had to do a quick little cheeky restart there. So hopefully people can hear me. Hopefully it's all working now. Hope we got people here. Lawmark, thank you for becoming a member during that intro. Looks like Twitch is good now. Does unfortunately mean that the ads on Twitch are going to start running, so I do apologize. We won't start just yet anyway, because it's not 7, but... How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is well. Does a guy play serious versus someone within 240 inches? Well, we'll get into all that. Serbco, thank you for following over on Twitch. Today is going to be basically just, like, people have asked, you know, why I don't like Guard. So we're going to talk about Guard. We're just going to talk about Guard and about why, you know, why do you like Guard? Why don't I like Guard? We're going to have, you know, back and forth, you know, very, you know, a very polite discussion. We're not going to get angry at each other or anything. Maybe. We'll see. Black Kraken, thank you for following. And we'll see where it goes. How's everyone? Hope everyone's doing well. There we go. Everyone's had a good week. The Guard only play the stream interests me greatly. There you go. Rational and nuanced discussion. Yes. Yes. Did you paint the whole tanks that you were about? Yes, that was the dazzle camo was I did myself. Yes. Black Kraken, thank you for thank you for subscribing with the Prime. Working on Sisters Battle Squad. Nice. Yeah, what are people up to for this stream apart from obviously getting ready to very angrily type in the chat. I'll be right picking the orcs. Nice. Hype Train, Brock North Shore, thank you for subscribing with the Prime. And a Hype Train starting over on Twitch. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, yeah. And obviously, you know, this is the thing with the April Fool's, right? Is when I do an April Fool's joke, but the very first one I didn't do it because it was like I was a small channel then. I just did a small quick thing. But all of my April Fool's jokes usually have a follow-on to it. Look, Cheesy Face, great name. Thank you for following over Twitch. So, like last year was me putting a hat on Chauncey and explaining why that took me so long. This year was the 25-minute, 41-second Guard video. 25-4-1, if you didn't get that. Followed by this stream where you get to really get mad at me. Yo, McCheesy's face. If Guard had Centurion armor, would you like them more? Probably, yeah, to be fair. We're going to talk about, you know, what I like, what I don't like, what you don't like. We're going to come to some sort of conclusion about what it is that I don't like so you can then understand what's going on. We'll do some polls in there to kind of see what people are feeling. Get some data some data. Soda Tab, thank you for following. Over onto it. Guard could be cool because you run them as Traitor Guard. That we'll get to, yes. Can use this video on advice for my first army. Your first army should have Centurions in it. Fell Femboy, what a name. Thank you for following. We're almost at 1,000 followers over on Twitch as well, which is crazy. So thank you. Build the new Verkar. Maybe at some point. I haven't done much Gundam, to be fair. I need to get back into that. Been very busy. There's been a lot going on. Paint Jam results are coming out tomorrow. Hope you're looking forward to that if you took part in the Paint Jam, or if you didn't, just want to see some really cool models. So that's cool. I've been working on the script for next week's video, which should be the Super Major 18th Centurion video. I started writing a script for just a completely unrelated video because it was in my head. Lots going on, which is very cool. I wanted to do more streams this week. I didn't. We'll see about next week. I find streaming is like finding time to stream is a bit more difficult. The week after though should have more streams, so that's going to be a bit more useful. Thank you.
Yes, Guard aesthetically isn't great, but lore-wise they are badass yet relatable underdogs, and gameplay-wise they are probably top 10 most flexible factions gameplay-wise, tanks, humans, swarm, and much more.
Thank you very much for your super chat, Amir. Yeah, there's a lot in that. Some of that I agree, some of that I don't disagree, but we'll get to that.
Chad 5 feet 11 inches guardsman fighting demons versus virgin superhuman inside a power suit inside another power suit. My Primarch has tank treads.
Thank you, super chat. This is the thing. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a Chad guardsman. No, you're not. No, you're not. If as a guardsman, if you saw the hell that is in the 40k universe, you'd just die. You'd shoot yourself immediately, right? And this is the thing. This is why, like, this is part of the reason. Well, let's get into it. I think everyone's ready to get into it. I think we need to we just stop this music. This music's a bit too backgroundy. Maybe we'll play some of that later when I forget to do actual music. What we really need is this. We're going to talk about Imperial Guard. And why I don't like them. And why you're all wrong. Probably.
Best target practice units for knights.
Thank you, Isolation Protocol, for the super chat. Obviously, as we get into this, super chats and bits are a good way to get your opinion like to the forefront, so I will reply to it. Become a member, or Patreon, or Twitch sub. Members and patrons will go into the old credits. And there's going to be stuff, if you have something that you say, oh, I think Guard is cool because of this, and I don't know what that is, then we'll work it out. Manual Crack as well, thank you for following. Paul about to make the whole stream out of hate, yeah, exactly. Or out of blank. I assume out of just hate in Guard. I mean, this is how content creation works, right? And like the stream as well, because that helps in some way, I think. I don't know. Right. So, to reply to the one reason Imperial Guard is cool is Jorgen. I don't know who that is. It's whole stream about it. You like Guard because it's regular humans against dark guys. I just like Guard because it's regular human against dark guys, so we are not the same. Exactly, Dre. This is basically my thesis statement. People like Guard. Let's start with something else first. Let's start with some basic. Let's just get an understanding of the audience I've got at the moment. Do you like Imperial Guard? And I'll start a poll over on Twitch as well. Do you like Imperial Guard? Yes. No. We'll do that for 3 minutes. There you go. So I want to see a kind of general, like, how we feeling in terms of, you know, Like or dislike Imperial Guard. I might ask more questions later about, do you play Imperial Guard? Do you collect Imperial Guard? Do you paint Imperial Guard? But let's... can you make an indifferent opinion? Nope. You are... Well, I guess indifferent opinion is you don't vote, right? That's the indifferent opinion. Are you talking lore, playstyle, or painting? We'll get to all of them, I think. So, one thing to consider, I'm not a big lore person, but we will get into that, because I have read some books. Crazy, I know. Idiot reads books. But it looks like currently 70% over on YouTube, Twitch, similar, 60, 67%. So, majority, 69%, nice. Then you got some people who are indifferent on guard. That's fair. Underdog guard for 5th onwards. They look like basic human pre... Oh, tables. Took away a large chunk of characters we had. I like them, but I think they were better. That's fair. This is the other thing as well. There's obviously people going to like them from historical standpoint. All that kind of stuff. Spot, scoot.
The Guard are just worst how they serve the same purpose human analog who is there to be terrified of the scary shit and how do that better.
Oh, that's going to cause some controversy. But I'm going to cause even more controversy because I kind of not agree with that specifically. But one of the things I read sometimes is, oh, I like Guard because they have big guns. So do a lot of people. Like Tau have really big, cool guns. Space Marines have really big, cool guns. Everyone has a big, cool gun. Play Chaos Space Marines. You get a big, cool gun in a giant, like, dinosaur robot thing. Like, you know. But maybe you don't like that. Maybe that's the thing, right? As I'm watching that building a Baneblade. Well, that is a pretty... Baneblades are pretty big. That's a pretty big gun. Gotta give you that. I mean, Basilisks are cool as well. So I do kind of see the big gun is cool. But Basilisks are cool, but they can also be used in non-Basilisk situations. Do you have any just like fairly standard background music? Here we go. I like tanks. I like diesel. I like military tech. There you go. That's fair. Sisters have a pipe organ missile launcher. Exactly. This is why, like, you know. Thank you for your super chat work.
The Krieg is the only good thing about the Guard.
And then you're going to get into that as well, because obviously people like specific parts of the Guard, right? Like people don't like Cadians, people don't like Krieg. It's all nuts.
I like the Guard because they are the embodiment of the indomitable human spirit in 40k. Also, I love their Starship Troopers aesthetic. Yeah, so that's another thing I think, is people like they're the scrappy underdog, they're the human analog against the tyranny of the 41st millennium. But to me, that's boring. God, there's a lot of super chats coming in. Thank you, Camper Guy, for that noise. Towing beats the indomitable spirit of man fighting against Xenos, massive mutants and heretics buffed by gods. His Imperial Guard holds the line. Yeah, this is the thing, right? Like, oh, it's the indomitable human spirit, but then it's also, isn't it just like a meat grinder? So is it the indomitable human spirit, or is it just weight of numbers, you know? Like, so I have read in the one of the Uriel Ventures books, there's a character who's an Imperial Guard who does help Uriel, right? He's just a dude who like goes in and he's, you know, all brave and whatever. That's like one guy. Like, this is my thing. I think a guardsman, a single guardsman, can be cool in story and in the lore and stuff. The Imperial Guard, Imperial Guard is idea of fielding standing humans against the horrors of space and still hold the line despite being severely overwhelmed in every way. But this is my point. Like, is it the human spirit, or is it just numbers? Because it seems like being in the Guard is awful. Like, you know, again, my lore isn't very good. This might all be memes, but stuff like, you know, commissars just, you know, just shoot you. Like, if you try and run away, so you can't exactly run that way. You're living like shit. You're not eating anything. There's millions of you
because they can just throw you in the meat grinder, right? Indomitable Spirit doesn't mean it can't be meat grinder. That is true. This is why I think like an Imperial Guardsman is better than the Guard, because a Guardsman can be the embodiment of human spirit, but the whole Imperial Guard, it feels a bit... It also doesn't really translate to me in my in towards the game as well for me, I think. Michael or Mikhail.
The Guard's only saving grace is that they are green, and green is the best. I got 70 more characters. Wah ah 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 ah.
Wah ah 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 ah. Thank you. Oh. Matt Laura.
Hey Paul, Ben Jones is my teammate. I posted your vid in our group chat. They thought it was very funny and loved it.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I'm glad because the Great Flesh, Great Flair. I didn't realize how weird that name is. Glad they enjoyed it. Yeah, because I also reached out to Ben as well and just tell him I had a really fun game. And again, thanks for the game. And if there is a Ben Jones fan club going, I'll join it. No, yeah, thanks for sharing that. I'm glad that you thought it was good. Such a good stream to listen to, building my new Kerr's very interesting debates. It's very haphazard at the moment. Obviously, I'm trying to respond to a lot of things. So by that logic, aren't Space Marines boring? They're just generic super. This is the thing, Shamrock, right? Like people say, I've seen this comment a lot, and like a lot. Oh, look at the Space Marine player complaining about Imperial Guard being generic. Have you seen the Space Marines? They have cool armor and Centurions and stuff. Like, yes, that is more interesting than a dude. Like, they look like a dude from the army today, just with a las gun, versus a guy in like this like awesome like armor. Yes, the armor, it is generic in terms of like Warhammer, yes, but you know, in terms of like just looking cooler, right? Played 40k for the first time last weekend. I didn't expect it to be actually fun. Nice, Big Boon. This is the thing, right? This is the video I was talking about. Like, people, I think there's a lot of negativity on the internet. I don't want to get into this conversation because I've got another video on it and we maybe do another conversation about it. There's a lot of negativity on the internet. You should just go try it. It's fun. Like, my tournament was amazing. I loved the tournament. I want to play more. But a lot of people will go, tournaments and competitives, it's awful. But, you know. God, I'm not in numbers. God have better tanks and artillery than Space Marines. Ignore the Primaris nonsense. If you don't know what it means by human spirit, read Orlanius Pius. I haven't read that, so that's something I will read. This is the other thing. I want to get stuff like that. Like, Orlanius Pius. I don't know what that is. I will probably absorb that. Manual crack. Thank you for the 10 bits. I'll take that in, and I will go and read it and try and formulate a better opinion. Not a better opinion, but a more informed opinion. Because there's probably some stuff that people read and go, wow, I really like that. That's why I love Guard. But I've not done. Now, Paul, Guard was my first ever army. The reason I like them so much is because of the vehicles, not just tanks, but the Sentinels, plus sheer variety of Guard. That is the one thing. Right? Guard have a good variety. The tanks are okay. But I think the problem with the tanks for me is they are a bit... If you remember, if you watch the first video... I say the first video. It's the only video I've done so far of the Nuclear Winter. Thank you for $2 with no message. Oh, God, it's all going wrong. I'll get back to my point in a sec. We're gonna hear a metal pipes if you're painting. Stop.
The indomitable human spirit is the weight of numbers. To compare the mass amount of death to the other atrocities that have happened in the 40k universe, it's all bad. Space Marines are boring.
What? So why are Space Marines boring to you? And is it because they are just like the default and there's too much of them, or is it something about their design? That's the thing that I want to understand. Guard peak 40k theming, a bloated giant fighting with outdated, mass-produced and often not even understood equipment wins through strategy, determination, sacrifice. I guess so.
The Gaunt's Ghosts series by Dan Abnett is peak Guard. You really get a sense of what life in the Imperial Guard really is like. I
have heard of Gaunt's Ghosts. I would definitely read that. God, the chat is literally like stuttering and every so often catching up, so I apologise for missing all your messages, but thank you, yeah. Gaunt's Guard and, yeah. What was it? Aurelius or something. Anyway, this thing, it's like it's you know, it's you know, determination and sacrifice. But is it like, you know, it's it feels a bit like some of you will die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. It's like, is it really the guard like being all rah rah, or is it just like they have to, otherwise, you know, what else is there, right? And also, again, it is still like the meh. It's just dudes and boring like tanks versus. Like, I like the repulsor. The repulsor's cool. Like, yeah, people don't like the hover stuff, but I think it's cool. So it might just be a case of, you know, this is the thing. I think it is a case of, as Drea says earlier, like people like them being the underdog. I find that boring. Like if you're in a world full of all these awesome like weird like tech stuff or like weird demons and tyrannids, and you decide to just play the men, just the dudes. I think Guard of Space Marines should get the Legion of the Damned type deal, so regular Guard who are ephemeral and on fire, and Legion of the Damned extra units. Interesting. Guard are just Space Skaven. Skaven are cool though, that's the thing. Skaven is funny. I like Skaven. And I think the other thing I think is when I think of Imperial Guard, Traitor Guard sounds way more interesting, because you would imagine that I would think that most guardsmen are probably gonna turn, like, if you start if you start a coup or start a rebellion, it's gonna turn pretty quick, right? What I love about the regular dudes of 40k NOS is it shows how just regular dudes survive horrors beyond imagination. While they do no fear, they must deal with it. That's true. Oh, that's a pipe. Thank you, Amir.
My reasons for distinctly respecting Guard. 1:15 hours is best. 40k Book 2 Ogren are wholesome and heartbreaking in equal measure. 3 cool regiments like Penal Legions, Jopal, Katakan, Landrian Militia.
Katakan. So much.
Disagree with the generic point. Power armor is fucking everywhere and marine armor just seems like medieval knight armor but sci-fi coated.
But that's cool, right? Audible Caiaphas Kane.
The Audible Caiaphas Kane books are amazing.
Thank you for your super chats as well. But just dudes killing all the special cool things in the universe is super cool to me. I guess so, but it's also like you have to fire so many of them. And that's, I think, why it doesn't translate very well to the game, because then you have like 20 dudes able to kill like 5, and again, that's a game thing. That's kind of a bit whatever. I don't know. It just feels like I feel like the Guard need to be there. I think like Starfleet Ensign is right. You need a point of reference, right? If there was no Guard and everything was just like magic versus magic, right? But I don't. And I understand that, but I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the benchmark. I want to be the cool thing, right? It's like with D&D. Like, people play D&D, and you can do a lot with, like, basic human fighter. But also, you could be a dragon dude. Dragon dude cool, right? Maybe I'm just, like... Maybe I just have, you know, the sensibilities and the mind of, like, a child. And that might be true, but... You know... Go read 15 hours, I'll have it for that.
Space Marines are boring because they are essentially Big E's progeny that he wanted to succeed. The Guard has held the line for millennia. 90% of fights are fought with the Guard.
I don't quite... So, Space Marines are boring because they are the Emperor's dudes he wants to succeed. And I don't quite... Why does that make them boring in your mind? I'm not trying to, like, gotcha you or anything. I'm just trying to, like, dig into the... I'm trying to understand, right? Like, the Guard holding line for millennia and 90% fights fought with the Guard. Sure, that makes them more boring because there's so many of them.
Your forehead is so big it's a 5 head. By default, you could be in the Guard.
Wow. Thank you, Alex. Rude. What I hear in 40k circles I'm in is that the benchmark is how many space marines this thing can kill rather than how many Guard this kill. But I think that's more of a game thing, right? In terms
Suffering
of...
from a Rogel dawning, Paul?
Very much so, yes. Part of this is Rogel Daws are very mean and scary and they hurt me.
The Guard are generally a competent military. Stuff like commissars killing men pointlessly and walls of bodies are generally not common.
That's fair. I think that is definitely more of a meme, right? Message retract. There was no message there, but thank you for the dollar. For Kokoski, I think the killing a Space Marine equivalent is kind of a good benchmark for like how powerful a thing is, because killing Guard is easy, to be fair. Like their toughness 3 and their 5-up saves. Everything kills Guard. Like killing Guard isn't that hard. But when you're trying to kill like a unit of Space Marines, that is where like wiping a unit of Space Marines is like a useful metric in that sense. Maybe we could watch a Crackduck video about Guard. Maybe. I'm not going to watch any, like, I don't do React stuff on stream. Because not, I was going to say not that I think it's bad. I don't think it's great. You know what I mean? Like, but it's not the kind of stuff I do. I feel like it's taking away from their content. No, a lot is, and again, not like, you know, there's a whole community around this stuff, right? Like VTubers reacting to bricky stuff, right? That's kind of like a thing that exists. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't do that, because it seems that is a good way, you know, seems that that's a way to get VTubers into it, and also, you know, then Bricky seems to work with all the VTubers. But that's not something I'm going to do. Even though I am a VTuber, technically. I'm not going to get in on that. Unless, like, Bricky came down from his throne and went, Paul, react to it right now, but I doubt that'll happen. Space Elves, Fungus, Football, Hooligans, of Forces of Hell, All-Eating Bugs, Super Soldier, Space Knights, Big Stompy, Robotech, High-Tech Guys with Gundams, Nuns with Guns, Space Dwarfs, and Ugor go, nah, I'm going to play Army Man, MCG, Joe. That I think is kind of sums it up, right? I think part of the human wave stuff for Guard is because all the interesting 40k stories are when the Guard can't handle the situation, and Guard force completely going to a world and crushing an uprising something is a compelling story. It's what they do on the regular. Ask right, I could ask right, but if Ricky told you reactors collab, true. Morty and Glory.
Space Marines get plot armor, Guards don't. Guardsmen humanize 40k and show humanity defending what they hold dear themselves. Marines don't care.
I disagree, to be honest. And from what I've not read that much, but in the Uriel Ventress book specifically, I'll be there one sec. Okay, well, I'll see you there.
Look at the size of that thing!
Jeez, there's so much going on. Thank you for all the super chats. Goddamn.
The enemy is a Carnifex. Who would have to overcome more hardship to kill it? A guardsman, with his knife and satchel charge, or a space marine built to be a killing machine? The harder the fight, the greater the victory.
Here's my thing with that, Ivy. If it's a Carnifex versus a single guardsman, the guardsman dies. 100%. Like, there should be no world where the guardsman lives in that situation. Give, 20 guardsmen in there, and you got something of a story. A Carnifex versus a single guardsman should never end with the guardsman winning.
You are defined by the strength of your enemies. Space Marines only punch their weight class and below. Guard can only punch up.
But this is the thing, right? Guard can only punch up unless they have more.
I think the Guards is
then it's a weight of numbers,
they
right?
are super customizable. Want a Russian army, there's Vostroyan, like World War I there's Krieg, etc.
Thank you for all the super chats, by the way. I'm struggling to keep up with all the people. Jamrock, Skylark,
so fun.
Skylark, Polaris. God damn.
In Space Marines, you can bring a dozen Centurions tops.
You can bring at least 18.
Guard can bring 20 plus tanks with tons of crazy guns and modifications.
This is the kind of thing, right?
Checkmate.
Like suddenly,
JK love you.
Suddenly the bigger the fight, the bigger the enemy, the bigger the fight. But you can bring like 20 tanks. That's kind of turns the numbers somewhat. You know what I mean? Can't be able to paint a horde. That's the other thing. They also look like a pain in the ass to paint. They don't all wear helmets. I mean, Krieg do, but I don't really like the Krieg aesthetic. And this is the other thing as well. Oh, all this.
The Guard are just as often outnumbered as not.
Yeah, to be fair, but what I'm saying is they can outnumber. Like it's the thing where they could outnumber, right? What was I saying? I saw someone the point wanted to reply to. The thing with the customization is like, oh yeah, there's all these different things, but you can also just customize your own thing whenever you want, right? You can just do whatever.
If you consider tanks units with the squadron keyword, you can bring more tanks than Centurions in a list. Checkmate.
I doubt it. I don't think you have enough points because you can bring so many Centurions.
Unless the Marines are Salamander or main character, Space Marines feel the rest of humanity is a burden. Also, it's hard to kill a 25-man blob.
I don't know. I feel like from the story, that's what I was going to say. The stories I've read, like Uriel Ventress is like he cares about this is these are the Emperor's people. Like they should be protected. So I feel like there is still an element of that. I don't think they feel like it's humanity is a burden. If they did, then they'd chaos, probably.
Pinal legions are 40k Suicide Squad job all fight to pay off financial debt Katakanaru army of Rambos Landian Miltior zealot warriors O'Grain Arethi forest gumps that can rip marines in half.
That was a lot of words. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of different things within Guard, which I do think is cool. Like, but I also think Guard has the ability to, like, obviously you got the ones that GW have, but you can do anything with Guard, which is cool, which I do like. But again, it's doing anything with Guard that are just people, which I guess can be cool. And then Traitor Guard is on top of that, which I think is cool. Doesn't translate well. I first played when you had to field a battalion of troops and a company of tanks to have a better average chance to face other factions, but I mainly fall in love with it. I could see myself being a part of this and feel other factions being close was given too much. That's partly due to how GW would praise themselves, plus I'm a woman, so I can never be a space marine. I mean, sure you could. Just don't tell him. You can work it out. That's a whole separate topic. We'll. This stream is just one big hot. This is essentially it. This is my big hot. This is hot take court for me, essentially. But this is the thing. I think like you kind of do that with Space Marines anyway. Like and with kind of everything, you can just do your own stuff, right? Also being classic enemy of the Guard. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, right. Like obviously orcs are the numbers, and this is the thing, right? Orcs are just like if I was to play a horde army with tanks and vehicles, orcs are just cooler. They're a cooler aesthetic. They're just more fun. They're more interesting. They're cooler, basically. I can't think of a more like specific way to say it.
The capability to look at ravenous bugs, the green tide, elf wizards that explode minds and literal hell itself while just being a dude with patriotism is kinda sick.
But this is the thing, do they have the capability of that? Or is it just that they have enough numbers? Because I would think that again, maybe I'm just putting my own bias onto them. I feel like Traitor Guard should be far more like common, right? Because if you saw like Hell Face,
Look at the size of that thing!
Lore-wise Space Marines have plot armor. On the tabletop picture it like this, mass fire. I've been in a few tournaments so far and just did one with the recent codex. I've done very well as long as they don't get in melee.
Yeah, it's way to fire, right? And they do well at tournaments as well. Not God, what would you prefer? But this is entirely the thing, right? I count my hand likable Marines 5.
I can count on my hand the likable Marines. 5.
You don't have to like them. Can you count 5 likable Guardsmen? I mean, you probably could, but what I'm saying is, like, there's so many Guardsmen. Yeah, law of averages. Poor milking buddy, I'm Imperial Guard players can buy more potential. That's the secret of this stream. You can defend yourself, but it costs money, and then I take your money and buy more Centurions. Ha! It's just a better character to build story upon. I mean, that is the thing. Like, that's Baron von Victor. That's why I think an Imperial Guardsman is way cooler than the Imperial Guard, because you can build a story around that. Like, 40k stories from a Guard's perspective is a really cool thing. But then, when you remove that kind of small personal stuff and just become a mass of Guardsmen, then it becomes like, why would I be this? Like, people say, oh, I can imagine myself as part of the Guard. Yeah, like, an individual within the Guard is cool story, there's a lot to do there. But take that out, and you've just got dudes and tanks. And if I wanted dudes and tanks, I'd play orcs who have cooler dudes and cooler tanks.
Canon lore, an Inquisitor once met a Kasakin veteran. The Inquisitor was scared of him. Then the guardsman shanked a demon to death with a knife.
Interesting. No, and yeah, I'm sure there are like again, like Gaunt's Ghosts and like, you know, all of these.
Look
like,
at the size of that
There's
thing.
so many things. Thank you for all the super chats. Jesus.
Don't confuse the Guard as one entity like SMs have chapters. The Guard is a very loose term and all are operating on their own in their own corners of space while supporting an empire that doesn't always look out for them.
That's it. Thank you for I actually might do this for all the
Do similar Steam on each faction Plaza last Super FN.
Yeah, thank you again for all the super chats. I might do this because this is actually really interesting. Like to get people's opinions and try and like it's difficult to on the fly formulate my own. Also, was so Faye, thank you for following on Twitch. I just saw that. Like it's hard to kind of formulate these things live, but it is very interesting to me. You see a mass of dudes, I see a group of brothers that overcame their fears to safeguard their loved ones against horror scares. I guess that's the thing, right? Is there is the I don't really have a desire to kind of put that kind of story into Guard myself. You see what I mean? Like people have like their, the story of their guards. Like for the Crusade, Dreas had a really cool idea of like they were protecting, they protected this planet, they're all this stuff.
Maybe you need to find a guard you like. Have you checked out Elysian Drop Troopers?
They are pretty cool. They're the ones that came in the latest kill team. Right? I do think they're kind of cool.
Kind of opposite for me. The cool guard books made me think that every guardsman could have stories behind them like that and made the big battles with a gazillion dead more impactful.
I mean, here's the thing, like, they could, but do they? Because then it becomes like the diluting effect, right? You need to have the kind of interesting ones. Like, it's the same with Space Marines. Like, there are Space Marine named characters than just Space Marine dudes. Would it go right? How to go lucky turn like hammer? So I don't think that would really help. I don't know. Nightbot, shut up. What's Nightbot telling you? Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, I'm not saying like you're I joke about saying you're wrong for liking Guard. US guys, thank you for following. I joke about it, but I don't actually mean it. Like, I can definitely see why people like Guard.
Counterpoint, why do I need to change your mind? Love my Krieg. Love my Pretor and Space Geordies. Love me tanks. Variety is the spice of life.
What should I give for the... I mean, that's the thing, right? The title and the thumbnail is very, like, provocative, right? But, again, you can like what you like, I like what I like. I just like... These are just fun conversations, I think.
On the grander scale, the Guard actually represents the brutality and massive effort of industrial grand war. On the table it makes you feel like a general leading combined arms of men and metal. Guard and Marines are boring, meanwhile Nurgle, Tau, and Krons are the only FCTNS, in lore, that can stand up to the Tyranids. I am Alpha Ias.
I gotta get through your super chats as well. I can see, but the thing is, on the table, surely you could feel like you're generally leading combined arms of men and metal with any faction, like Tau. Like, you've got men and metal. They're aliens, but what about specifically Guard makes that feeling more pronounced, I guess is my question. Because I feel like I'm doing that with my Space Marines, right? Obviously, I've got a lot of Centurions, but, is your punishment for being in court building a Rogal Dawn army? Absolutely not. I would never subject myself. To be fair, the amount of super chats I've got so far this stream, I could probably buy a fucking Guard army, but I'm not going to. What's your job? I'll have you know, I'm professional Guard despiser and professional Centurion enjoyer. Thank you for the 2 months. What's it called? Prime? No.
Centurions are the best. Prime. Long live the chonky boys.
Thank you very much. Centurions are the best. That's the thing. It's also Guard don't have Centurions. And what are you gonna do? Actually, probably be as boring because they are human, but choosing human when you have all the choices is what makes it great. You're a simple man destined to die in the front of This is the thing, like, you're a simple man destined to die. It's like, oh. That sucks. Why can't I, put me in 2 layers of armor and make me a Centurion? You know what I mean? Shiny SC, thank you for following. Well, and here's the other thing I can do now. This is where this is the real secret of this stream. Is now I can judge, like, objectively, who the most passionate fans are, based on the amount of money they send. So, like, oh, Tower only gave me 100 quid. Tau suck. God, 200 quid, hell yeah. So when are you going to pay a guard kill team? Probably not, to be honest. Also, like, Sentinels or Headstrike. Sentinels are alright. Human male fighter with disorders most base decision DD. This is the other thing, right? Again, human male fighter, you can do a lot with. But all of the things you could do with a human male fighter, you could just then say, oh, also, I'm a dragon dude, and that's just cooler. I sent you 20 quid in support of the guard, but I prefer Marines. Oh, that's fair. I mean, you said... I guess this thing, when I do the Space Marine one, you gotta be like, aha, more. I do find World War II stuff interesting. That could be the other thing. Like, I think, no joke, there is a relatively high percentage of guard players who are in the military, and that makes sense. And people who like military history would go towards guard because that is like, it then combines enjoyment. Like, you know, I like military history, I like playing 40k, I might as well do both at the same time, right?
Their second armor is their thickness.
Hey, you don't know what's going on in that Centurion armor. They could be caked up. So many noises.
Counterpoint, Bane Blades. Big tank make happy chemicals.
Thank you for following. Okay, counterpoint. Knights, or the Astrius, or whatever it's called, or a hammerhead with a railgun, or a Tantalus, or the Honky Tonk, or a Defiler, or a Forge Fiend, or just a Land Raider, you know. Or it's the bloody organ from Sisters of Battle, is it the Exorcist? Like, all of those things are big tank, right? Or a Stomper. Guard necessary, otherwise Marines would be the most boring. The guard is necessary. I don't disagree with that. Thank you for subscribing with the Prime as well, Moombadosh. I don't think you realize I just make big the Bane players on tabletop. I've had smaller laptops than that fucking. I've seen a Bane blade. They are big, yeah. I've also played against a Warhound, so you know. Have they included defiling political vehicles? Defiler's cool. What's wrong with you? Dr. J Sauce. Thank you for following. Or have I made people mad by comparing the Baneblade to a Defiler? Oh, controversial. Jimmy, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you very much. Lord of Skulls, there you go. But big tank fighting literal demon. Yeah, the literal demon's cooler. Like, you say like oh, it's a big tank fighting literal demon. Yeah, the literal demon is cooler. Is my point. The Marines have an infrared wrist spell that practically deletes anything anywhere it hits. No, but I'm pretty sure the Death Strike requires like aiming and then waiting a turn to aim, so I don't think that one does it either. I feel like those who are in our 30s like to defile. Yeah, to be fair, I'm in my 30s, I like Defiler. I mean, a newer Defiler would be cool, to be fair. Everyone has their own kinks, I guess, true. It's just really fun to play the Underdog. You look smaller, but like someone earlier said, you punch up, try and win.
Friend happy when their cooler unit kill 30 men at a glance.
That's a good point, yeah. Someone on YouTube has disrespect the Stomper. Oh, don't disrespect the Stomper. Oh, no. Human Guard is close to factory for being real. That is the thing, right? Like, why does it come down and show you the joys of Guard? No, come over there. Like, punching up is a cool thing, right? But also, being the thing being punched up to is also really cool. Guard tanks got me interested for 40k at first. I took then it looked deeper. Everything else seemed way cooler. That's fair. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Al Coffin, thank you for following me over on Twitch. Do I have some basic ass? Oh, actually, no, I got a good one for background. Do you know how old the Carnifex model is? Didn't Carnifexes get renewed recently? Paul is simply salty about being blown up by Rogaldawns. Exactly. I mean, it is annoying. Like, Rogaldawns are a bit annoying.
Space Marines are generic, it's just they got daddy's sprue goo. Guard is generic as well now, add mech, that's the way forward.
There you go.
Plaza give yous better tanks.
This thing, ad mech are cool, right? Ad mech are like cool robot dudes. I feel like
you're underestimating the Guard's 40k level funny stuff. Their biggest artillery causes earthquakes, the Hellhound's chemical cannon disintegrates flesh, and the Eradicator Russ is so radioactive it kills even Admech Scutari, alongside plenty of other stuff.
Yeah, but have you also thought that Centurions? Like, this is the thing, like, yeah, the biggest artillery causes earthquakes, but then you've got, like, demons doing demon shit. And, you know, you mentioned, you know, they're so radioactive it even kills the Scutari, but then you've got all of the other weird radioactive shit that the Scutari do, right? Like Rebel Doors, just hope we never meet one with an engine. Say, oh, don't worry.
Marines are treated as the default. In your analogy to in 40k stories, the fact of the matter is that Marines are the human fighters of the setting according to GW and the Black Library. Ironically, the normal humans are less common in stories. Guard are more like dwarf.
And apparently, halflings and gnomes don't get to be sold. I disagree. I think... No, I kind of agree, but I disagree. Yes, Marines are the human fighters, but the Guard aren't your dwarves, halflings, and gnomes. Dwarves are Botan, and halflings and gnomes like orcs and, you know, not grots and all the other things. You know what the humans are? You know what the Guard are? They're the NPCs. They're the guys going around the town. They're the, you know, you might have a named character who's the innkeeper, but otherwise they're just the dudes who, when the evil guy comes over and wants to wipe out a town, the Guard are the guys he wipes out. So yeah, maybe the Marines are the human fighters, but Guard aren't more interesting. Guard are the NPCs. Is this bait? Absolutely it is bait, yes. It's 100% rage bait. The easiest way to prove you wrong is to ask you why you play Space Marines if they're so common and regular in the Warhammer universe, if their normality is an obstacle to liking them. It's not the fact that they're common, it's the fact that they're at least cool. They have cool armor. You can play a Centurion. Guard are just like dudes. If you were teleported right now into the 41st millennium, would you rather be a dude or a big dude in 2 layers of armor with awesome siege drill hands?
Peak rage bait. I got the hatred rule and will compliment your tech marine if I'm lucky enough to meet you.
Isn't the whole crux of this debate is that what is called subjective? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is what is cool to you is subjective. I'm just telling you what I think is cool to me. And what I think is cool to me is Space Marines versus dudes. But I fully understand the, you know, the underdog stuff, the indomitable human spirit, all of that stuff I do understand, but that's not for me. The Guard usually don't want to be Guard, they fight anyway, therein lies the fun. This is my point, Torch, is surely you would see more Traitor Guard. If I was put in that situation, it's like, okay, yeah, go in there and die, and it's like a demon's like, you know, I'll give you a tenner to put some spikes on your head and turn around. I'd be like, give me that tenner, mate. I'm putting spikes on. I'm turning around. Maybe not. I don't know. Guard is there to make everything else look more cool. Therefore, they can't be the coolest thing in the game. That's a fair point. I think Guard being there as the kind of baseline thing is definitely interesting. You see Traitor Guard, they're in the tower, right? I mean, that's the thing, like...
Solar Auxiliary are better. Igar their weaker sons.
I don't know what Solar Auxiliary are, but... Thank you. I wish I to be a Knight user.
I'd
That's
not
fair.
Guard or Marine, I'd wish to be Knight user.
You should tell a Traitor Guard in law, they should have rules for them. I mean, to be fair, here's the thing. The rules for Traitor Guard are... You play Guard... and you stick spikes on your tanks. and now you are a Traitor Guard army, I think, to be honest. Because they're the same dudes, just... The planet broke before the Guard did checkmate? Yeah, but the planet broke is the problem. And therefore, along with it, the Guard also broke. So that's the issue. Actually, wait, is the reason you don't like Guard because you'd have to paint like way more minis? To be fair, I don't like their aesthetic.
Sorry, I can't hear you over my army going wolf, 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 wolf.
Ah, so you play Furry Guard. Paul, I hate how based you are, thank you. Oh, the solar exit out of the RG before RG. Ah, interesting. Thank you, Paul, for tanking all the terrible card takes.
The planet broke under the Guard. Under the Marines, the galaxy broke Kappa.
But that's the thing, right? Yeah, one planet. Who gives a shit about one planet, right? Just one planet. See, Marines could fuck up in such a massive way that they destroy the entire galaxy. Now that's relatable. Just completely fucking everything up. That's relatable. Wait, they announced it's discontinuing Centurions? No, they didn't. Don't worry about it. It's not April 1st anymore. You don't have to joke about that. Literally more than half the all space chats were deployed in Hadia during the fall, and yet the planet still fell. Ah, sounds like a skill issue, right? For if the Guard were really that strong, they would have been fine.
Traitor Guard is not as common as Traitor PDF. Planetary defense forces are closer to the NPCs for your analogy, who tend to be the first responders to crisis and first to be infiltrated by chaos or genestealers. Guard is actually a level higher than that.
Weird way of doing it. More like the armies of the king or the mercenaries of DM might have. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I mean that's fair. They're probably like they're the guards of the town then, right? They're still not the human fighter. They aren't PCs. For me, when Paul thinks superheroes are more relatable than humans with no enhancements. I mean, they are, because they can turbo fuck up. That's the thing. You ever been in a situation where you just absolutely just fucked it up? Like, yeah, the Guard can, like, you know, die, but a Space Marine can live longer and just watch their whole world crumble because they fucked up. So, you know. Maybe if the Marines and the Literal Angels on KD actually did the damn job, KD would have been fine. So what was the point of the Guards being there? If it was up to the Marines and the Angels to save KD, you know, the Guard weren't doing anything. So the Guard being there or not was, like, you know, inconsequential. I've just started back in the Warhammer, gone with Grey Knights. Hell yeah.
Sorry, Guard and Marine fools. The truth is that Imperial Knights are the best and should have 40,000 books and games. 2 words as to why. Medieval Mecca.
Thank you for your super chat once again. Imperial Knights, I mean, they're cool. What do I say? I like the tanks as a Krieg, but not the command characters as weird horses. I guess if you like some part of a Guard, you like Guard, right? Space Marines steal all the glory from Guardsmen. Well, the Guardsmen needs to put up more of a fight. Clearly. Guards seem like a pain to paint. That's the other. Like, unless you're playing like Krieg or something, like, you have to fake faces, and that's no fun. I like the Guard because I like Sabaton. Fair enough. What about Sisters? I didn't like Sisters of Battle. I like Sisters of Battle. They're cool. They've got a tank, like, they have a tank organ. Why is that not the coolest thing ever? You know what I mean? Centurions are worse than Imperial Knights. I said it. I don't care how many super chats, how much support you give to this channel. That kind of language is gonna get you some serious trouble. An army of grots, grot infantry, killer cans, legend grot tanks, and grot mega tanks. To be fair, I was looking into like if I was to play orcs, and I do think if I was to play orcs, I'd probably play the dread mob because just push the red button just seems funny. This is the other thing is I've not seen like for most armies. Like, obviously, I have this weird, like, thing of going with just, like, a really weird skew. Like, Centurions are really silly. Most armies, I can kind of imagine a list that I could play and build. Guard is the one I just can't. Like, there's nothing in there that I want to play. If you really want to do mind play, just know this. Even in the Guard losing Battle of War, they don't really lose. There's always more Guard. So that goes back to the thing. It's like about like, you know, are Guard really indomitable? Is it just that they have just? Is it just they have meat grinder? So just get legend in less than 1 year? Nah, they won't. If Games Workshop knows what's good for them, they absolutely will not. So you gotta get one of those 9 Rust, 3 Dawn. What? The thing is, if I played Guard, it would. I think I would have to just play 6 Dawn Guard because it'd just be. One, it'd be fairly easy to do. This is dry music, yes. It'd be easy to do because it's just 6 tanks. We keep going in circles, I know, but it's fun to go in circles. Well, it's like if you have 100 rats in your home and you get them all out, but they keep coming. Eventually, that's the rat's house now. I guess.
Guard can hold a planet for hundreds of years, and it takes GW wanting to glaze some Marines to defeat them. In the case of Cadia, on a meta level, it was GW wanting to shake up the setting and finally make Abandon a meaningful threat, rather than all the Obadone fail.
Apparently you get cut off for speaking too much. I mean, shake up the setting is absolutely fine, right? Nothing wrong with that.
I play Guard because I'm a misanthrope and watching thousands of humies get stomped is how I process my feelings about society.
That is, as the kids would say, based. All tell me about the fox. Well, I don't know. I did a thing where I pointed to try and make my arms move, my character arms, but they don't move, so I don't even try. I guess it's that one there. Maybe got it from a zoo. We got a lot of these things from like zoos and stuff. How about Guard vehicles with 4 horror cables?
My first Guard purchase was a 3D printer, I'll admit it.
There you go. You see, yeah. Can't you're not making that human sacrifice with your wallet. So we know Imperial about the Imperial Guard. I'm not saying that's the thing. Like, obviously, the Imperial Guard are important to the story and to like, you know, the world at large. But because you need the dudes. I feel like it would be interesting if Imperial Guard could be used the same way as like cultists are used for chaos. Like in a Space Marine list, like having a bunch of just like really, or like grots, right? Like really cheap, just like a bunch of guards, they will die. I feel like that's a more useful or more interesting thing. Hey, Jason, what's up? But then they'd have to be written with that in mind, right? Like, you know, Zangors are super cheap, or, you know, cultists are super cheap and they die to a stiff breeze. But because Imperial Guard needs to be written as an army, they can get a lot more stuff. You know, with orders and all the special weapons and all this other stuff. And like characters. Real time Space Marine should be an elite choice for Guard. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, you know, that'd be an interesting way of doing it as well.
That's already how they're used on the tabletop. Lomao, they need characters to do stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they shouldn't be suddenly like super improved with the characters. They should just be like, they should just die. Just die. What is the Zangals? Zangals are the basic demons for Thousand Suns. The whole double human spirit is bullshit. Now that the guards want to get the fuck out the second they have to fight. I mean, that, yeah, 100%. You see that in the stories as well, like, which is why I say a guardsman is more interesting, having someone do that.
Hot take. Now if you want to talk about boring and irrelevant, let's talk Raven Guard or White Scars or Imperial Fist lately. Also custodies, probably shouldn't be a faction.
I didn't say anything about them being irrelevant. Also, Raven Guard are cool. They're bird themed. You gotta remember, this is the kind of level I'm like working on. You know what I mean? Have you heard of any IG named characters? Yeah, you got Caiaphas Kane, the Gaunt's Ghost. Can't remember Gaunt, Mr. Gaunt. I remember very distinctly from being a kid, a very one of the old White Dwarfs when I was a kid had like the Gaunt's Ghost, like a battle report about them. I think they lost like massively. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, obviously, again, enjoy Guard, play Guard. It's great for you, but it's not. This is because people ask me like why I don't like Guard. This is why, right? This is what I'm saying. Like, all of the reasons. This is the kind of the whole thing, right? All of the reasons that people have for enjoying and collecting and playing Guard are the exact same reasons I don't. And on the flip side, all of the reasons that I like and enjoy stuff like Space Marines are also the reason people don't. And it's, you know, just opinions, right?
Iron Hands are only relevant when their rules were good for the meta. Lol.
God of Iron Hands. They're more basic units with supplemental regiment rules that allow for basic infantry to be modified. I mean, that's kind of how they kind of did it. They let people know how to pick Guard in compelling ways. Space Marines are easy to write. I don't know about that. I've not read that many books, but out of the books I've read, there have been some compelling Guard characters. Like the whole I think it's the second Euro Ventress book. The whole part where the Space Marines come down and train up and like really harsh and train up the Guard for the Tyranids that are coming. Like that was a really cool story. Like, and you know, you could really like feel how like shit it is. You know, like there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Even in the stuff in the small stuff I've read. Every time you stream, I start painting us for some reason. Whenever you start watching, like. I start cooking. There you go. It's because I'm not cooking. So someone has to be cooking here. The Australians have raised one Cascade squad with Castellan double orders and basically 11 plus trusting on 2 plus. Well, there's entirely the thing, right? Like, on the tabletop, it feels weird that one Castigan squad would do that, but... Do you like Ogrins? They're okay. They seem a little bit... I don't know. Dish was the best Marines with more human ones, yet most
Since a
of them aren't
guardsman in a
that.
sentinel is wearing armor while within a set of armor they're basically a centurion, in this video easy I will.
Fair point. The best Marines are more human ones, but guards are human by default. But this is the thing, like... there's humanity and then there's like realism, right? If you were like a conscript guard, like you would just be shitting yourself, and that's not that interesting. That's like here's what I think from that. Marines have the ability to kind of delve into the humanity side, and then obviously the non-humanity side of being like just uncaring and just being like, I'm cooler than you, blah 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 blah, right? And then you've got the humanity side, you know, being more caring about the people around them. Then on the other side, you've got the guard, who can be that human, but then they can also be the worst of humanity as well.
Guard is the perfect backdrop faction. By being more normal, they make the weirdness of other factions stand out more.
100%. My reasoning here is, why would I want to be the backdrop faction when I could be one of the cool, weird factions that stand out?
There is a guard regiment that probably appeals to you based on their lore, you just have to find it. The current problem is you currently don't have GW supporting the diversity of guard to the same degree they support the diversity of Marines models.
So I don't think that's entirely true for me, because the reason I play Raven Guard isn't because of the lore. I don't fuck all about Raven Guard. In fact, I don't know much about the lore of any of my factions. A lot of it comes down to what I think looks cool, but then also what I can kind of do with that. Like Screaming Ravens is my own lore, and that's where there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with that. And I don't feel like I can do that with a human faction, because I feel like that requires more understanding of like more grounded things, if that makes sense. Like if I want to make my own custom, because again, I'd want to make my own custom guard regiment. I wouldn't want to find one I like from the lore and then play them. I'd like my own, but I don't know what that would be. Like, oh, these guys are bold. I don't know. When with the Screaming Ravens, you can do a lot more stuff. Like, they have the weird thing that they can only scream, and they do all the weird, like, random tactic stuff. Like, Imperial Guard lore is about being a normal person fighting against non-atrocities. Space Marines are specifically built to be super soldiers. Imperial Guard appeals to people who like to play on hard mode. But here's the other thing. Like we said earlier, oh, I can buff up my Krieg and do 11 like 2+ shots. Then it's not playing on hard mode, because Guard are still good on the tabletop. So you're not playing hard mode. It might feel like you are because you have more units, but the game has to be balanced. So you're not playing hard mode by being the Guard. The feel of the guard also changes a lot depending on who they face. Here's the other thing. Gene Stealer cults are cool. I like Gene Stealer cults. And they are, again, kind of that standard stuff.
You can do basically anything for the Guard, as the Imperium does not care as long as the worlds keep sending regiments. My mate's Guard is all crackheads, for example.
Sure. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, again, it's like, I don't know. Again, this is why if I were to play Guard, I'd play Traitor Guard, or maybe Jesus Guard. Probably Traitor Guard, because here's the thing with Traitor Guard, right? At that point, you don't really need to know about the Guard themselves. All you need to know is about why are they traitors, and it might be because of Mr. Zinch. John Zinch has decided to be like, you guys, I tricked you because I did the cup game, but I actually had. I'm actually a magician, and now you sold your soul to me or something, You get the overall thing from that. You don't need to really learn about, you don't need to come up with, like, the planet story or all that stuff, which is a bit too much, I think. And I feel like that's probably one of the things, is you have to come up with, you don't have to, but I feel like if I were to play a Guard regiment, I need to come up with, like, a whole world building for it. And that's a lot. Guard has the coolest tanks of all the Warhammer? Absolutely not. I mean, they had Basilisk, which is cool, but like I say earlier, like, there's some really cool stuff. Sold your soul in a cup game, damn.
Compliments your Screaming Ravens. Like their homeworld's Guard regiment might be trained in recon and stealth tactics similar to the Marines. They might work alongside each other, using Deathwatch/Grey Knight status sheets to mimic your Marines in the...
Apparently you talk too much. The text speech is just like, no. Hard stop. I mean, that's potential. But here's the other thing, right? Specifically with the Screaming Ravens, because I've had people ask about the lore. Like, the whole idea with the Screaming Ravens is that it's kind of open. I was speaking to, I think it was Ivy. One of the things was like, one of the cool things, because I like the idea of the Screaming Ravens being kind of like a fleet system where they have like lots of, you know, ships and fleets kind of all scattered all over the place, which allows the community to basically do whatever they want. Like, if you have a story of your Guard and you want the Screaming Ravens to come help them in some fight, go for it. There might be just say there's a Screaming Ravens fleet over here. They don't even have to be Centurion based. They can be whatever you want, which I kind of like. My idea of the Screaming Ravens is that, yes, it's got, it's my thing, but also the community could do whatever they want with it. Like, you can kind of say they're somewhere if that helps your story. And I think that's what makes them cool. Which obviously means doesn't help for the homeworld. But again, like, you could make that. You could say, like, the Screaming Ravens came to your homeworld and your Guard is based on that because they helped train them. And at some point, what I'm probably going to do is, as I work through my, it's been, I haven't done too much of it. I need to do more. But as I work through the Screaming Raven supplement and start looking for fluff, that's what I might do. It's like, if you have suggestions, if you want to add stuff to your thing, like, come up with some cool stuff. Something very unique about being the grey background, like an insight into the oppressed regular soldiers.
I collected both Guard and Space Marines. But I do admit that I just love tanks. I like my armor box of mass destruction. So I do need to get some more Centurions and a Storm Raven for fun.
Oh, absolutely. Storm Raven's cool. Thank you for the super chat. This is the thing, yeah, people just like tanks. That's one thing. What happens when the Centurions get put into Legends? They don't get put into Legends, okay.
Solar Auxiliary is way cooler than Guard.
People have mentioned that. Was there no maybe option in the poll? I like tanks but not soldiers. Then I guess no. I don't know.
That scene of Garviel Loken and the Intex Captain or of Ragnar and Sven is a good example of how SM can be some of the most human characters.
I don't know who that is. But thank you for the super chat. Orcs need to get tanks again. Here's the thing. With orcs, you can make the tanks. You just say this tank is a truck, and then just put spikes on it. Well, I'm doing a one-day 40k event in June. You make it, that would be ace. In South Wales. June might be more difficult, potentially. Not least of which was because the Switch 2 is coming out and I'll be playing Mario Kart F0 GX literally all month. It's also then very close to my wedding, so probably not. But maybe, I don't know. South Wales is quite far from me, to be fair. So you're going to say, no worries, extra. Thanks for stopping by.
A guardsman moves faster than a centurion, twice as much with an order lull.
Well, here's the thing, is a centurion doesn't need to move fast. This was my centurions. My centurions bloody, every time they charge, they roll higher than a 10. Dr. Mouse, thank you for following. Mario Kart stream. Yeah, I mean, I'll be streaming Mario Kart. To be honest, I don't think there's a flat out faction that sucks. I think they're all pretty cool. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, people have mentioned the card is a bit clickbaity. Like, Imperial Guard, I think they suck, but they don't actually suck. It's just my opinion, right? It should have been probably like, I don't like Imperial Guard, changing my mind, but again, it's like, gotta get the people in. Gotta rile them up a little bit. But I also think these conversations are interesting. I guess the change my mind is also potentially basically because, like, you're not gonna change my mind. You might open my eyes to more things, and I might, give you my opinion, and we can kind of, learn more about, how people think. I don't think it's ever here to, like, I don't think it was ever here to be like, if you disagree with me, get out. This is the thing. You're allowed to have wrong opinions. Exactly. You're allowed to think Guard are good. That's the thing. I love the Guard, but everyone else I know thinks they're lame. Why would you play the Army Man? That is exactly my opinion. Why would you play the Army Man? Changed my mind. It was never made up to be with. Oh, I say that. I'm not saying
Gaunt is
I'm
the
not.
worst commissar ever. Commissars are supposed to be outside the chain of command, so he should have declined the rank of general.
Damn, what an asshole. I guess I am open to have my mind changed, but what I'm saying is like again, people have mentioned like books and stuff that I will happily go read. I guess it's not. It's not so much I'm gonna change my mind. There are reasons I don't like the Guard, but there are probably going to be reasons that the Guard are cool that I don't really know.
Funnily enough, Guard have the volume of fire equal to or larger than Orcs, if not more. First rank fire, second rank fire, is my favorite order. Rolling 30 to 90 shots with lethal hits is a hell of a drug. And Guard are more accurate than Orc.
True, and then the Orcs get into your face and kill you. This is the thing, Guard are pretty good on table. This thing is like, yeah, the core fantasy I don't like, but as I've said, like stuff like, individual characters have been cool. There's some cool stories about the Guard, and people have mentioned some things I'm going to go read. I think the idea of these streams is like learning more about each faction to get a better understanding. Because here's the other thing, like, my reasons for not hating Guard, my reasons for not liking Guard are fairly surface level. Like, I don't really like the way they look. I don't really find it appealing to be just dudes. Like, I don't think their tanks are as cool as other things. Like, why wouldn't I just play Orcs or something? You know what I mean? But I guess the thing is, like, with getting more of an understanding from other people in the community about why they like it and some of the stuff that brought them into it, will also help me formulate my opinion about, okay, so this thing you like is cool. Why is that not appealing to me? And then trying to formulate it from that. And maybe there is a thing that could change. Or maybe you say, like, you know, there's a whole list of things that are like, these are this, like, this. And I'm like, okay, that is cool. I can't like that. But again, it's one of those things where I think this is a kind of an evolving thing. But like history, here's the thing with that. Modern history, I'm not, like, it's okay. Like modern military history, I'm not a huge fan of. I prefer like medieval, and kind of that kind of history is more my speed. I'm not super into it, but that's kind of where I'm more at. But again, that's because I play a lot of D&D, so that's kind of like come from that. Something that's got me to join a local club. Hell yeah. Say modern, obviously, it was 100 years ago. What's wrong with my voice? What is wrong with my voice? Is my voice not correct? Or is you just not like my voice?
Guard is the reason why indirect sucks for all nowadays.
Yeah, that is true. Be me and like everything that isn't Votan. I quite like Votan, to be fair. You can make a medieval regiment like 8th Guard Codex with a picture of the Age of Sigmar kit bash Guard. I could just then play Age of Sigmar, right? Guard is about the indomitable human spirits used to fight demons ready 2 for 5 feet tall and have a bolter. Yeah, so why wouldn't I be 2 for 5 meters tall and have a bolter? That seems easier.
Having just played a game as Guard against Orcs, winning 60 to 27, the Orcs can struggle against Guard shooting without dense terrain. Even Guard Overwatch is very dangerous to Orcs with lethal hits and flamers. Then Guard tanks do things like deal d6.
Yeah, that's the thing, that's a terrain thing, right? Like, Orcs are a melee faction, they're going to die to a shooting faction. Age of Sigmar doesn't have laser guns? Skaven. I just don't know how unfinished I feel. That is fair. What do you need to start playing like my friend and I have combat trolls, a couple of things. Do we need anything else? No, you pretty much got it. The rules are online. Have fun. The art laser say it's magic. I mean, what is a laser if not just techno magic? You know what I mean? I'll tell you what though. Tell you what would change my mind. If you can make a Skaven Guard. Astrat Militarum. Skaven converted guard army would be hilarious.
That said, I still haven't gotten to painting all my guard. My collection of grey is reaching 3,000 points.
Oh, disgusting. I have over 3,000 points of Screaming Ravens painted now. Which is insane. I mean, yeah, very much could, but I could also then make Cheese Stealer Colts. You can make Skaven everything, right? Awesome. That's a good point. Thoughts on Tau? I think Tau cool. We'll probably what I want to do is I'll probably do a few of the. Let's not play that. I'll probably do these streams like fairly. I quite
Still
like these like
painting the
diving into
infantry I bought. I had to make my Vostroyans look good.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I might do like this for all the factions because the other thing I want to do with these is because someone mentioned have a look into Trench Crusade. I haven't. I want to do these kind of deep dives for other games on stream where I go like, all right, let's have a look at like what's going on with these things. So I might like do a call out for like, give me all the resources you have for X game, and we'll have a look, see what's going on. The main thing that appeals to the guard to me is the sheer sundering power they have, grinding everything to powder under a routinely fight. That is kind of cool. But then also Centurions.
I wish Votan would bet some love from GW. They have the smallest range, so little lore and a tiny player base.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where they are still relatively new, right? Like, I know there's a lot, like World Eaters and Emperor's Children are new, but they've also had a lot of previous stuff. I think it'll get there.
Fun though, replace the 4-side turrets on a Baneblade with 4 Centurions mounted on each side, so that the Centurions use the Baneblade as a transport.
Now that's thinking with tanks. Yeah, so Malifaux again is the one, like Infinity. I kind of want to look into games. I want to look into like other things, other factions. This worked the opposite. Now I don't like Guard anymore. Here's the thing. All right, here's how we're gonna do it. All right, so we got 932 votes, 72%.
And all the dwarf jokes went unnoticed. TT.
Do you like Guard? Let's see if the opinions have changed. Probably not, to be honest. All the people who don't like Guard are probably left. Little lore and tiny play, but I mean, all of those are, The thing is, Ragnar. All of those are true statements. Do I like IG? No. Do I like Krieg? Yes. That's the other thing. Like some people just like Krieg. I want to say again, the entirety of Astra Militarum is better than Centurions. Absolutely not. Get out. Get out of my sight. Have you considered shovels? Yeah, to bury all the guardsmen after they get shot to death. All right, actually went up. It's 80%. You actually like Traitor Guard GC or just more than normal? I think they're more. I think they'd be more interesting from a collecting perspective. I think they'd be more interesting to do like cool stuff with. I've not played a Horde mode yet, no.
Can I send a link here soon? Cooking a Centurion alignment chart ATM.
Put it in the Discord in the memes chat or something, or in the stream chat. Where would you tier list rank them? Guard on my tier list is the lowest. DC to cost of C instead of an F. I don't think they're. I think they're D. I did a tier list over a year ago, and Guard were D tier. I think they are still D tier, but again, there's some cool stuff for it. Also, if you considered Indent Idiot, Centurions with shovels, checkmate. Agents of Imperium easy the bottom tier faction, though. To be fair, Agents of Imperium didn't have a book when I did that tier list. But that's the other thing. I should at some point try them. But again, this is the problem I have with Guard versus every other army. There's nothing in the Guard that I can kind of look at and go, yes, I want to play those. Thoughts on Demons getting Thanos snaps? I'd have to think about it. I think it's okay. Maybe the way they did it was bad, but I don't think that was really Thanos snap. There's a lot of like weirdness going on there, but I kind of understand it. It makes more sense, I guess, to put them in that, similar to the way Age of Sigmar works, where you have each of the like the four gods have their own book, right?
Guard tier list video could be funny.
Guard tier list video. F tier, F tier, F tier, F tier. Basilisk, S tier. I think Demons will continue to get support, but it'll be part of the Chaos factions, which I think is okay. But I don't know. Anyway. Thank you for all of your support and joining me today. I definitely would be doing this again. Sorry, it's a fairly short stream, but I have some stuff I need to do. And I will be back to streaming more and probably doing more
Guard discount Centurions. They are called Bulgrin.
If you did enjoy this kind of thing, want to have these kind of conversations more, I'll absolutely be up for it. Doing for other factions, other games, all that kind of stuff. So let me know if you enjoyed that. Where is... And thank you again for all the support today. This was a lot of fun. But yeah, thanks for joining. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And Hate Jam video tomorrow. And hopefully soon I'll have some more stuff to announce, which is cool. And I'll hopefully stream on next week. Thank you very much for watching. And I will see you next time.